Great. She's at it again. Hey, kitty girl, what are you doing? No trespassing.
Oh, Liz! Chloe's better.
Chloe? Who are you talking about?
Chloe's the kitty you helped. Now she comes over to play.
I'm glad to hear it. In any case, you're not allowed here.
Hey, Liz, what's your name?
Me? Oh, I'm Naomi. Naomi Kimishima.
Okay. Hi, Naomi. I'm Melissa. I live just on the other side of the garden here.
I see. That makes us neighbors.
Yep, so I can come see you anytime I want.
Now, Alyssa, this is a place where most people can't go. That's why I need you to...
Oh, and who's this little princess? Am I intruding?
Chief.
Hello, mister. I'm Melissa.
Hello, Alyssa. I'm David.
Excuse me. Can I borrow Naomi for just a moment?
Okay, Naomi's got work to do, right? I'll be going then. Bye-bye, Naomi. See you later.
It seems you've made a cute little friend.
You know she doesn't have any security clearance, right?
Now, you think I'm that uptight? It's not like we're using diamonds to decorate the garden.
Anyway, you're here to talk about work, correct? I'm listening.
Yes, a few hours ago, a body was found in Oxford. The FBI is requesting that we send you to investigate it.
Me? Is there some crime involved?
It's our job to determine that. What do you say?
This is my duty, isn't it? I'm on it. The victim lived in a cottage in Oxford with her husband. The husband called the police saying he had killed her. When they arrived, she was on the floor with a chest wound.
Hello? I see.
I accept. The FBI thinks the husband may not be telling the truth. All right. Let's discover how this tragedy played out. Tell me the facts we have, little guy.
Yes, ma'am. The victim is 75-year-old Alma Parker. Her husband Joseph called the police late last night. On arrival, they found her body, stabbed in the chest. The husband was in a wheelchair, holding a bloody knife. Joseph's account is that they had a fight that escalated.
A man in a wheelchair stabbed someone who could walk.
That's what he says happened.
Find out what you can about the murder. I'll check the body.
Right, please get started.
The dead tell no tales. And if they do, nobody listens. Only the dead who died yet can discover the truth. Let's begin. Show me how your life was put out.
Hey guys, so today we'll be continuing with Storm Team. And yeah, let's go. There we go. Alright. Examination room.
What could this be? I've never seen a bruise like this. Is it something congenital? This is internal bleeding. It might have been caused by something pressing against the hand. It would require a great deal of force to leave this mark on the victim. Was she struggling against the murder? Or is there a different reason behind it? This stab wound is small, but it's rather deep. There's a wound with a similar shape, but it's a different size. This must be the fatal stab wound. It has an odd shape. The weapon's cross-section must be... Right. The weapon must be shaped like a cross. That weapon most likely penetrated the heart and killed the victim. What kind of weapon has a shape like that? The victim has a wound on her head. It's star-shaped? What can wounds tell us? Yes, we can figure out the shape of the weapon that inflicted them. Still, a star-shaped bruise. What kind of weapon would leave that? Bloodstains on the left sleeve. Was there a wound on the corpse's arm? It could be the murderer's blood. This needs to be investigated further. What's this? Is it hair? That's bizarre, because... Indeed, the victim and the suspect reported they both had white hair. I need to send this in for analysis and identification. These stab wounds are different sizes, but they have the same shape. We can deduce that these wounds are connected by... Yes, these two wounds were caused by the same strike, piercing all the way through her body. If that's the case, the entry wound was... Indeed. If something is pierced all the way through by a sharp implement, the entry wound must be at least as large as the exit wound. If these wounds were caused by the same strike, it would have to be 20 centimeters or longer. This isn't enough to identify a weapon, but it does get us one step closer.
Dr. Kimishima, do you need an analysis?
Well, I'm not here to ask you out on a date. Just look at these.
Okay. Are these bloodstains?
Yes, they were on the victim's left sleeve.
That's odd. This blood isn't the victim's.
What do you mean?
Well, the results say that only the H-type antigen was detected in this blood. That makes this blood type O.
The victim has type A blood. What about her husband? He's a suspect.
He has type O. Does this mark him as the culprit after all?
Let's not start jumping to conclusions. First, let's check to see if the husband is injured. If this blood came from him, he must be wounded. Hey, little guy, could you analyze this hair?
Yes, of course. Dr. Kimishima, this isn't human hair. It seems to be from some sort of animal. Did the victims have any tame household creatures?
You know, they're called pets. And no, there weren't any signs that they had any.
Strange. Still, this is obviously not human hair. I can see cuticles, so this isn't synthetic hair or a fiber.
All right. Can you identify what animal it's from?
No, that's beyond my expertise. But I do see something odd about it.
Go on.
Well, the hair has a tip, but the other end doesn't have a root.
No root. That means... So the hair had been cut.
Right. This means that the hair didn't fall off the animal naturally.
Why would something like this be on the corpse? Little guy, can we determine the shape of this weapon?
I think so, yes. I'll need some information, though. What can you tell me? How big is it?
Well, it's at least... 20 centimeters. It's shaped like a cross shape. Does that help?
Yes, thank you. We'll have the results in a moment. I see. This isn't a cutting tool, like a knife. It's like a spike or a spear. Something meant for piercing.
So, a stabbing weapon. I don't like the looks of this.
Right. This isn't your usual murder weapon.
Something's not right. What do you think, little guy?
You mean the weapon in the shape of the wound, right?
That knife isn't long enough to have done that, and it's nowhere close to the right shape. No, something else has to be the real murder weapon. The second thing this tells us is...
I agree. The husband's definitely lying to us about something. In any case, we know for sure that the knife isn't the murder weapon. However, we still don't have a clue what the real weapon was, or do.
Take it easy. We just have to think about all of this. A sharp weapon, like a spear, that can go through a human body. We'll have to find out what it was.
Dr. Kimishima, we're done interrogating Joseph.
Joseph? You mean the victim's husband who confessed to the murder?
Yes, he just keeps saying that he killed her. We've got nothing to go on.
I'd like to hear the recordings myself anyway. I want to know if the blood on the victim's sleeve was his or not.
I've already sent you the data. You can examine it whenever you want.
Yes, I'll do that. Thank you.
I've already told you people it was a domestic dispute. I was angry at my wife and I stabbed her. That's all there is to it. So what if I'm in a wheelchair? Doesn't mean I can't stab someone. She was standing right in front of me, so I just shaved her right there. I turned myself into the police right after. You know what happened after that. What? What about my hand? I injured it, that's all. How I injured it has nothing to do with this. What about my hand? I injured it, that's all.
I see. The victim's husband does have an injury on his hand. This will prove that the bloodstains came from the husband. True. These pieces of information do share a common bond. The blood on the victim's sleeve is type O. Joseph has a wound on his right hand, and he himself has type O blood. There's little doubt that the bloodstains on the sleeve were left by him. That doesn't prove that he killed Alma, though. We'll need more evidence to be certain. Let's keep investigating. This is one bizarre case. There's so much about it that's hard to believe.
You don't think the husband did it, Dr. Kimishima?
Who knows? Anyway, let's put the facts we know so far in order. The reason why it's doubtful that the victim's husband is the murderer is because... Yes, the knife he says he used could not have caused the wounds she died of. There are other reasons to doubt him too, no matter what weapon he used. Pushing it all the way through a human body would require a lot of strength. But he's... Indeed. He is wheelchair-bound and cannot stand under his own strength. Would he be able to kill someone like this while sitting in a wheelchair?
His hospital records make it clear that he can't stand up at all.
Yes. The shape of the weapon and the details of the death make it unlikely that he's the murderer. Still, he insists that he's the one who killed her.
I don't get it. Usually people lie to avoid being blamed for a crime.
Huh. You have a lot of experience with lying, Mr. Investigator?
Hey, we agreed not to bring up the past, didn't we?
But why would he want to make himself the criminal?
All I can think of is that he's defending somebody else.
Either that, or covering up an even bigger lie. That doesn't change what I need to do at all. Contact HQ about the inconsistencies we've discovered and interrogate the husband again. I'm going to the crime scene. Tell them that, too.
Understood. I'll get authorization immediately.
There are traces of something having been burned in this fireplace. It's something other than firewood. I wonder if there's anything left. Oh, I've got something. What is this? There's something else here, too. Is this fur? What is this doing here? There's an inscription on this cloth. To my loving father and mother from Adam. A gift from a family member? Well, why does this decoration look familiar? That's right. It's the same as that star-shaped bruise on the victim's head. The murderer could have struck the victim with his cloak. I need to take this back and carefully investigate it. This. It's a shard of glass. What could that be from? Supposedly, only Joseph and the responding police officer were at the murder scene. If that's the case, then... Yes, there were no other shards of glass in the area. The police wouldn't be so foolish as to contaminate the crime scene. I'm beginning to wonder if someone there had cleaned up the other shards of glass. I could send this shard to analysis. We might learn something about it. Hey, little guy. Your turn.
Yes, what is it? Oh, you need something analyzed? Just one moment. There's some kind of compound on the concave surface here.
Any details?
It's wine. Yep, no mistake.
So, there's wine on the inside of this piece of curved glass. That means this shard comes from...
That's probably right. Then again, there could be some oddballs who drink wine straight from the bottle or something.
Perhaps. Let's assume for the moment that it's from a wine glass. A little more investigation may provide us with more information. These two hairs appear to be the same. If that's the case, then the hair from the fur was on the victim's clothing. Why, though? The decoration on the clock matches the victim's hip wound, but this couldn't possibly have been the fatal blow. I need to know exactly how this wound would have affected her. Little guy, can I bother you for a moment?
Anytime. How can I help?
Well, the wound on the victim's head was caused by a clock found at the scene. I want to know what that wound would have done to the victim.
Okay, I get it. I'll start looking into it right away.
Let me know the moment we get some results.
Dr. Kimishima, I need to tell you something.
Is it good news?
No, bad. Another corpse has been found.
Give me a break. I'm already in the middle of investigating a case for you.
Well, the thing is, it might be related to the Alma Parker case.
What do you mean?
A female corpse was discovered in a warehouse at the harbor. The victim is identified as Abigail Parker. She's Alma Parker's daughter.
What?
Yes, it's not just Alma now. Her daughter's been murdered as well.
My God. Is there any connection between the two cases?
We don't know yet, but considering the timing, I believe there's a good chance that they're related.
All right. Send the corpse over here. I'll perform an autopsy.
Right. I was going to come over and tell you about the clock anyway. I'll load all the information that we've confirmed onto the computer, too.
Huh. A man who comes to visit bringing a dead body as a present. You're the worst guest ever. This kind of thing tends to upset people, you know.
Hey, come on. This is my job.
I'm joking. I'll have a room ready.
Yes, that would be helpful. I'll see you later then.
The daughter of Alma Parker, the first victim, Abigail Parker.
Well,
These were her last words. I'm not making any promises, but I've heard your words. This is a cut. It seems like it was inflicted intentionally. I feel like I've seen a similar wound somewhere before. There's a deep wound on the chest. This must be the fatal wound. This stab wound has an odd shape. I've seen this somewhere before. Oh, this is the cell phone that Abigail is carrying. It won't turn on. Is it broken? This should be sent in for analysis. It may have some useful information. Abigail's hair isn't black. I've seen this black hair before. It's... That's right. It was animal fur. These murders are too similar for us to dismiss the possibility that they're related. The wound on Alma's hand wasn't caused by external trauma, while Abigail's wound was obviously made using a sharp tool. At first glance, these may seem to be completely unrelated. However, if we consider any similarities or connections between the two corpses, these wounds may indicate some hidden link that we haven't discovered yet. Just as I thought, these two hairs are identical. So we know that the hair from the fur found in the fireplace at the murder scene was on both of the two victims. From this, we can deduce that indeed, the murderer had been wearing or using the fur somehow. Thus, it's not surprising if we found evidence of it with both the victims. Little guy, can we tell anything from this wound?
One moment. Let's see. The stab wound in her chest is the same shape as Alma's stab wounds.
Is that so? My hunch was right. This proves. Yes, both murders were committed using the same weapon.
So were they murdered by the same person?
It's likely, but there's no conclusive evidence of that just yet. The wounds aren't exactly the same. There's something very different about them.
Where?
It's... Yes, the depths aren't the same.
Couldn't that just be coincidence? They were killed by a machine after all.
I can't rule that out as a possibility either. Still, Alma's stab wound pierces all the way through her body and out her back. Abigail's wound barely reaches her heart. These wounds would require a vast difference in strength to inflict.
I see. Is that so?
In any case, it's dangerous to make more assumptions than is absolutely necessary. Let's continue investigating. Indeed, these facts can be put together. Alma and her daughter Abigail. The two corpses share one common thing. That is... Yes, the same weapons used for both murders. Another similarity can be found among their belongings as well. That is... Yes, both of them have the same type of animal. There's a very high possibility that these crimes were committed by the same person.
Dr. Kimishima, a new testimony has arrived.
Good. Whose testimony is it this time?
Let's see. First, we have the person who found Abigail's corpse. He He owns a restaurant, but he seems to be an acquaintance of the victim.
Really? How did they know each other?
Well, it seems the victim was an occasional customer at the restaurant. According to the testimony, the victim had visited the restaurant not long ago.
I see. This may be able to help us determine the victim's situation before she was killed. We should confirm when he last saw the victim as well.
Yes, there's another bit of testimony that needs to be addressed.
Go on.
Well, it's Joseph Parker. He's begun confessing to his daughter's murder as well.
What?
When the questioner asked him about Abigail's corpse, he started with the whole "I did it" spiel again.
Why did you fools tell him about Abigail?
Well, he is her father after all. Someone was bound to tell him.
Well, we've lost the chance to learn what really happened from him.
No matter where you go, there's always somebody who has to ruin it for everyone.
Oh well, what's done is done. I'll listen to his testimony too. Send the voice data over.
Understood. Please do so. Abigail was that true? I killed my daughter Abigail too. I admit it. I did it. What more is there to investigate? Who cares about the weapons? It doesn't matter. Quit fooling around and give me the death penalty. Well, when I found the body, I was up that morning fishing for the restaurant's chef's catch special. Oh yeah, if you go out a bit there, they're quite easy to catch. The market's fish aren't good enough. No, for the fish to be at their freshest, they have to be killed right when they're caught. Well, I was shocked. I never imagined I'd pull up a corpse. And even worse, it was Miss Abby Parker. That's right. I've known the Parkers for years. She'd come to the restaurant with her parents every now and again. Heavens, no, they never fought. They seemed very happy. A wonderful family. The last time Miss Abby came was 3 days ago.
He says that Abigail was at his restaurant 3 days ago. So Abigail was still alive at that time. We can trace Abigail's whereabouts with these facts. Her corpse was found about 2 days since her death. The man who found her body last saw her 3 days ago. That means that when the chef saw her, yes, it was not long before she was killed. There's a high possibility that Abigail was killed soon after she left his restaurant. It would be best to investigate the man who was seen with her the night she died.
Dr. Kimishima, can I bother you for a moment?
If I said no, would you leave me alone?
No. I definitely think you should hear this.
Alright, hurry up.
Thank you. Well, HQ has made a move. The FBI has arrested a suspect for Abigail's murder.
What's going on?
Who knows? Maybe they're jumping the gun. I don't know what the higher-ups are thinking. The man's name is Sean Bowen. He was Abigail's boss where she worked. His wife, Carolyn Bowen, was also taken in for interrogation. They're both at HQ now.
Oh, is there any evidence that he's the killer?
It seems that this was found at the scene where Abigail had been murdered.
What's this?
It's an expensive lighter made in France. It's a custom order with his name engraved on it.
Sean Bowen. Well, there's no mistaking that.
We also showed Sean's picture of that chef. He confirmed that Sean was the man with Abigail at the restaurant the night she died.
I see. Let me guess. Here's what the FBI thinks happened. Abigail was having an affair with her boss. The situation got complicated, so he killed her.
Bingo, Dr. Kimishima. That's exactly what HQ thinks happened.
What about Alma's murder then? Would he take the trouble to murder the girl's mother to hide his affair?
Honestly, I don't think they're looking that far ahead. They'd rather believe this than think that Joseph committed either of the murders.
I see. So Joseph is defending the man who killed his own daughter?
Well, now that you mention it, that doesn't make sense at all.
Alright. We can't say for certain that this man, Bowen, isn't the murderer just yet. I'm sure he'll be able to tell us what Abigail was doing on that night as well. Can you get the interrogation recordings, little guy?
I've already got them. I know my stuff.
Nice of you to stay on top of things. Send me that data ASAP.
Got it. I'll do that now.
Hey, little guy, I need something analyzed.
Sure. Is it the lighter that was found at the murder scene?
Yes, I just need you to find any fingerprints on it.
Fingerprints. Just a second. Oh, wait. They're all the same set of prints, repeated over and over.
Can we find out whose they are?
Let's see. These are Carolyn Bowen's.
Bingo. So the one who left this lighter at the scene was... Right. Sean's wife, Carolyn, left the lighter at the murder scene.
Good heavens. What's going on? I haven't done anything to get interrogated by people like you. Abby. Yes, she did work for us. She was a very innocent and beautiful girl. You know the type, right? Look, I'm sure you figured it out for yourself, right? What we have is a relationship between two consenting adults. She's the one who asked me to meet her at the restaurant, but she got a phone call and left before the meal came. Where she went? How should I know? She said something came up, but who knows? Huh? That's my lighter. Where did you... The scene of the murder? A warehouse at the harbor? No, I've never been there. I don't even carry that lighter with me. I keep it at home, so what would I be doing there? This is a trap. Someone's setting me up to be the killer. Listen, that lighter's a custom-made, expensive piece. I keep it carefully locked in a showcase at home. The showcase? It's in my living room at my house. The only keys to the case belong to me and... me and... Don't tell me.
Huh. Why did his testimony end there?
Oh, that's when his lawyer arrived.
And they took measures so he wouldn't say anything self-incriminating, I take it. That's all right, though. I learned something important that I hadn't been expecting.
You got some useful information from that recording?
You weren't paying attention. If that man is telling the truth, then Abigail's cell phone has an important clue. That is... Yes. Upon receiving a call from someone, she abruptly left the restaurant and was killed. It's quite possible that call came from the murderer.
I see.
Even if the caller isn't the killer, we can identify the caller.
Gotcha. I'll make sure they hurry up and analyze the cell phone.
Oh, wait. We also need evidence to back his testimony up as well.
That's true. What can we do about that?
It shouldn't be difficult to get a witness to verify his testimony.
A witness? But who?
Think about it. It would have to be.
All right. You did remember seeing Sean and Abigail at the restaurant that night. You think he might have more to say about how they were acting then?
Yes. Can you go talk to that chef one more time?
No problem. I'll ask him for more details about that night.
There's also that lighter to consider. It's most likely that it was removed from Bowen's house by... Yes. According to his statement, the lighter was supposed to be in his home. The only person besides him who would have been in a position to take it would be his wife, Carolyn. If we inspect the lighter itself, we may learn something from it.
I see. You'll get the recordings from Carolyn's questioning as well. I'll send it over right now, so please use the recorder to listen to it.
Yes, make sure I get those. I'm counting on you, little guy.
Hey, what's this all about? Why are you keeping me here? What could I possibly have to do with you? Huh? I was home all day on that day. So what? You found his lighter at the murder scene? Is that so? I wonder why. So, is he a suspect now? I don't know anything about it. I don't give a rat's ass about that cheating bastard. Can I just go home now? I don't want to deal with a murder investigation.
She's rather emotional. Is she unstable?
That's just normal, Dr. Kimishima. You're a little too calm.
Well, I have my moments too. Sometimes.
Anyway, Carolyn's insisting that she was home the entire time.
Is there any way to prove that?
No, there aren't any witnesses. She says she was alone the entire time.
Did she know that Sean and Abigail were together that night?
No, we told her that her husband is a suspect in a murder investigation. She shouldn't know that Sean was involved with Abigail. We're trying to keep the details under wraps.
I see. If that's the case, then she knows too much.
Huh? What do you mean?
Let's listen to her testimony one more time. Pay attention.
I don't give a rat's ass about that cheating bastard.
That bit at the end. Why did she call him a cheating bastard?
Maybe he's cheated on her before. He looks like a player. I mean,
That could be a possibility. But what if there was another reason?
like what?
Well, for example... Yes. What if she had seen Sean and Abigail together?
That would explain her hostility.
If that's the case, then she did witness what happened to the victim that night. This might lead us to something even more important. Carolyn Butler, Sean's wife, left the lighter at the scene of Abigail's killing. Her interrogation suggests that she saw her husband together with the victim. Does this mean that Carolyn is behind both the murders in this investigation? True. Even if she had a reason for killing Abigail, she had no motive for Alma's murder. But she may be able to provide us with information regarding Abigail's murder. I need a little more information from her. That's the little guy's job.
Dr. Kimishima, what's this?
It wasn't Sean who left the lighter at Abigail's murder scene. It was Carolyn. That makes her the most probable suspect now.
Really? I wonder what HQ is going to think when they hear this.
I don't care. I'm not interested in your office politics.
I know that. So, what do you think? Honestly.
I find it most likely that she's not the killer. Still, she may have witnessed something. If she finds herself our main suspect, perhaps that will loosen her tongue a bit.
I see. I'll use this info when I speak to her then.
You're going to talk to her yourself? That's odd.
It takes a liar to catch a liar. I'm good at this kind of thing.
We've all got secrets, don't we? I'll be counting.
Right. Oh, by the way, Abigail's cell phone has been repaired.
Great. Were the records of received calls intact?
She did receive a call during the time we believe she was at the restaurant. However, we've traced the call to a nearby payphone.
Oh, I see. I wonder if this information will lead us anywhere.
We're going to ask around the area if there were any witnesses near the phone, but we don't expect much. Still, there's no doubt that that was the last call made to her cell phone.
I see. So there's a good chance that call came from the murderer after all. Abigail was called out from a public phone, and then she was killed.
We'll continue looking into the deal with the payphone. Oh, we spoke to the chef again, too. Check out the recorder when you have time.
All right, I'll listen to it later. These two pieces of information can fill in Abigail's timeline that night until her death. When was she last seen before she died? That's right. She was seen at a restaurant that she was a frequent customer at. The one with her at the time was... Correct. She was witness there with her boss. Afterwards, she left the restaurant alone. The reason she left was... Yes, a phone call caused her to leave the restaurant immediately. But where did this call come from? Indeed, the payphone near the murder scene. It's most likely that the killer called her from the public phone, then waited for the victim to arrive and ambushed her. That would be what happened on Abigail's last night in this world.
How'd she act? What do you think? I remember that she was talking on her phone. I clearly remember that she left the restaurant in a hurry soon after that. The man who was with her left in a bad mood afterwards. No, I don't think that he went after Miss Abby. No, he left the restaurant an hour after Miss Abby did. I know that because I served a carafe of wine to the table. The gentleman drank it all himself before he left. I remember being disappointed because they ordered a very fine wine. Dr. Kimishima, we've received a recording.
More questioning? Who was it this time?
Carolyn Pruitt, Sean's wife. Once they confronted her about the lighter, she started talking.
I see. I'll check it out.
So what if my fingerprints were on the lighter? That's got nothing to do with... Why am I a suspect? No, I'm telling you it wasn't like that. That's skank. I didn't report it because I knew I'd get dragged into this mess. Yes, that's right. I happened to be out that day and saw them dining together. They looked like they were having the time of their lives. And I lost it. I was going to charge in there and slap both of them. And then the skank left the restaurant still on her phone. I followed that slut, but just because I was curious. I didn't want her to get away. Of course I was angry. She went into a warehouse not far from there. I couldn't see too well from where I was hiding, but she didn't come out for a while, so I peeked into the warehouse. And there was this hairy beast. It was on top of her. It was doing something to her hand with its terrible claws. I knew she'd been killed, but I had nothing to do with it. I mean, it serves her right. Did she think she could just steal any man she wanted? That's probably when I dropped the lighter. Of course, I didn't report it. I would have been the very first suspect.
I don't believe it. This is one weird testimony.
Our murder investigation suddenly turned into a monster hunt. We had a sketch artist create a picture from her account, but are there any animals that size around here?
Don't be ridiculous. It's someone wearing a mask and some kind of costume.
I thought as much. Could the killer be insane?
Who can say? There's no way to know anything yet. From the sketch, the murderer was wearing a mask. Now I know what that white shard from the fireplace was. It must have been from the mask that the murderer was wearing while committing the crimes. throw the mask into the fireplace. Whatever the reason, it helps to sort everything out. Okay, I need to sort out the information I have on hand. My main concern right now is the costume worn by whoever killed the two women. How did it end up in the fireplace in the Parker residence, where Alma was murdered? The most logical reason that can be considered at the moment is... Yes, putting it in the fireplace could be an attempt to destroy it. And if that is the case, something strikes me as odd about how Joseph, Alma's husband, was acting. That is... Yes, he confessed to Alma's murder from the very beginning. If he was willing to confess, what reason would he have to hide any evidence? Let's assume for a moment that someone else is the real killer. Can we follow this hypothetical person's steps? This person would have killed both Alma and Abigail. The first person to be killed would have been... Right, Alma's corpse was found first, but Abigail had been killed before them. In other words, the killer wore a costume to kill Abigail, then killed Alma the next day, after which the costume was discarded into the fireplace. However, we haven't found the murder weapon yet. There were no traces of it in the fireplace. The killer would also have some connection to the two victims as well. We can assume that Abigail personally knew her murderer. The reason for this is... Right. She received a phone call from a payphone to call her out. The killer knew Abigail's phone number, and Abigail rushed out right after receiving the call. It's unreasonable to think that she would do that for someone she didn't know. Similarly, there's a good chance that Joseph knows the killer as well. This is because... Yes, if that wasn't so, Joseph would have no reason to defend whoever killed his wife. So, is the killer someone that the entire Parker family would be acquainted with?
Dr. Kimishima, sorry to keep you waiting. We've taken a look at the clock we recovered from the Parker house and...
Oh, hello? Naomi, can you hear me?
Alyssa? What are you doing there?
Wow, I can hear you. This guy let me in.
Little guy?
This girl said that she really had to talk to you.
All right. Alyssa, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I need to do some work with the man you're with. Be a good girl and be quiet for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So, about that clock.
Yes, I heard that much. Get to it.
As you mentioned, the decoration on the clock matches the wound on the corpse's head. It probably fell off the desk and struck the victim's head. This may have happened while she was struggling with her assailant.
I see. Is it possible for that wound to have been the cause of death?
No, that's impossible. The impact wouldn't have been enough to kill someone. We've inspected the exterior of the clock, but it doesn't seem that damaged either.
I see. Then... Little guy? What's that sound?
Sorry. Looks like this clock is the kind that plays a little tune.
Hey, Naomi?
Alyssa, you said that you'd keep quiet.
I'm sorry, but that clock is broken.
Broken? Where?
I know how this song goes, but this one part sounds all weird.
Huh? Little guy, has anybody looked inside the clock?
1 second. Dr. Kimishima, there's something inside.
We may have found just what we're looking for. Thank you, Alyssa.
Good job, honey. Good job, Alyssa. Nice.
I want to know more about this weapon, little guy.
Oh yeah, no problem. It has an X-shaped cross section, and it's 25 centimeters long. It's thinner at the tip, and it's shaped more like a steak than a knife. This isn't a commercially available weapon. This is just a piece of steel with sharpened edges.
Huh. So the killer made it?
It seems that way. It's a poor cutting implement, but it could certainly be used for stabbing.
I see. This could be the weapon then. Yes, if we put these together, it should be easier to identify the weapon. The victims, Alma and Abigail, they both died from being stabbed in the chest by a weapon with the same shape. Their wounds matched the shape of the weapon found inside the cloth. The two of them were killed with the same weapon, this handmade stake. The shape on the end of the weapon's hilt appears to match the bruise on Alma's hand. This bruise could be from Alma pushing her hand against the hilt of the weapon. If that's the case, then the person who used this weapon would have to be... Yes. If the weapon is used by thrusting forward while applying pressure with the palm, then the only way Alma could get this bruise is if she was the one wielding the weapon. But what does this mean? Abigail was killed by the stab wound in her chest. The shape of her stab wound perfectly matches the shape of the weapon found in the cloth. The bruise on Alma's palm indicates that she had been using the weapon. If Abigail was murdered by Alma, it would make sense for Abigail to respond to a phone call from her mother. There's also Abigail's final words to consider. Huh. Why would she say that? That's right. The killer was wearing a mask and covered in fur at the time. Even as Abigail lay dying, she had no idea that her killer was her own mother. That's why she called out, to warn her mother away. From the phone call, she would have assumed that her mother, Alma, was somewhere nearby. But if Alma is the murderer, how did she end up killed by the weapon that she had been using?
Dr. Kimishima, the results of our analysis have come in.
Good. Which analysis was this?
The wine glass. Something else was detected in the residue.
Well, what is it?
We've detected traces of benzodiazepine in the wine.
Benzodiazepine. Isn't that used in sleeping pills and anti-anxiety medication?
That's right. It seems to have been mixed in with the wine.
Little guy, was there any benzodiazepine found in Alma's body?
Oh, why? The results of the drug test came up with a negative on that.
That's all right. I just wanted to make sure that she wasn't the one taking it.
Okay.
Yay.
If we believe that Alma is the one that killed Abigail, then Alma put the sleeping medication into the wine. The one who drank it was... Yes, her husband Joseph.
What do you mean? Are you saying?
That's right. Alma tried to kill Joseph as well.
But Dr. Kimishima, isn't that just...
The weapon left a bruise on her palm. That is proof that she used the weapon.
But she was killed by that same weapon.
That's true. Let's stay calm and think this through. We have evidence that there was a struggle between Joseph and Alma, don't we? That is... Indeed, the bloodstains are quite likely from when Joseph was injured and grabbed Alma's wrist during the struggle.
Then, did Joseph kill Alma during that fight?
I'm just saying that this is one conjecture we could make.
But there's no motive. The family reportedly got along well.
Little guy, where is Mr. Parker right now?
He's still being detained.
Good. Tell him something. Tell him we found the weapon Mrs. Parker was using inside the clock.
All right, I'll do that. Where are you going, Dr. Kimishima?
I'm going back to the murder scene. I want to find Alma's motive.
Dr. Kimishima, can I bother you for a moment?
What's the matter?
HQ contacted me just a moment ago. It seems Joseph Parker has a message for you.
The victim's husband? But why?
I don't know. I'll send the recording over to you right now. This message is from whoever is investigating my case. I don't know who you are, but I'm impressed by your skills. Go to my house and check above the fireplace. My wife's diary should be behind the stones. You must already know that I can't stand. So that's the only thing I couldn't get rid of. If you read it, I'd find out what my wife was truly feeling. Please, make use of that information. That's it. Did you get all that, Dr. Kimishima?
I heard every word. I'll have to check about the fireplace. Fireplace. Behind the stones. This must be it. Alma's diary is in here? Here it is. I should take it back to the office and go through it.
Oh, Dr. Kimishima, can you spare a moment?
I do if it's about the case.
Of course it is. Alma Parker's autopsy is about to begin.
Hey, sis.
I hope they find something.
How was work?
Yes, and regarding the results from the auto-imaging scan, a tumor has been found in Alma Parker's prefrontal lobe.
A tumor?
Yes, it's about 5 centimeters in diameter, and it seems to have been causing CVD.
Cerebral vascular disorder. If that's so, then...
Yes, well, even if she hadn't been killed, she didn't have much time left.
That's not the point. Tumors in the prefrontal lobe cause visual and auditory hallucinations. There's the chance that this may explain her strange behavior.
Wait, so you think this is related to the case?
I found Alma's diary about the Parker's fireplace.
What? Then Joseph was...
He was telling the truth. Reading this may tell us more.
I write this diary giving thanks to the mountains and to the flowing waters. My headaches continue today. That bruise seems to have gotten bigger, too. Should I see a doctor?
bruise. What is she referring to? That's right. She was still alive when she got that bruise on her hand.
I write this diary giving thanks to the mountains and to the flowing waters. A miracle happened today. I can barely believe it. I heard God's voice, beautiful and pure. The bruise on my hand is a sigil passed on to me by God Himself.
I see. Well, I'm no theologian, but I doubt this because of what happened to her was caused by... Right. Her experience was likely caused by the tumor in her prefrontal lobe. She interpreted the whispers of her disease as the voice of the Creator.
I write this diary giving thanks to the mountains and to the flowing waters. Today I heard a shocking premonition. We were walking the path against God's divine will. My pain was inflicted on me as a punishment and a warning to me and my family. I cannot let this be. I must save my family. I write this diary, giving thanks to the mountains and to the flowing waters. The preparations have been made. I will become the beast of the Lord and lead my loving family. I will sever them from this world and engrave the sigil upon their bodies too. Abby, my little girl, I willingly become the beast so I can save you.
Beast of the Lord. That explains the fur.
I write this diary, giving thanks to the mountains and to the flowing waters. I learned a terrible truth today. My little Abby never reached his side. It's my fault. I severed her connection before engraving the sigil. Ah, my loving daughter, please forgive your mother for being so foolish. Joseph will be saved. I will engrave his sigil and end this war. I'll make sure it won't hurt. Joseph, let us be reunited in his world.
The diary ends here. Alma died after writing this. The sigil that she says she engraved onto her daughter is... That's right. Alma thought the black bruise on her hand appeared as a holy sign. That's why she thought she was saving her daughter's soul using the same pattern. She also planned to do the same to her husband. When she said she'd make sure it won't hurt, she meant... Indeed. This diary answers a number of the questions we've had regarding this case. Until this point, I had thought that Alma and Abigail had been killed by the same person, but now it's clear who killed Abigail. And yet, there are several things found at the crime scene that could not have been Alma's doing. I need to review the information we have to determine if these murders were committed by the same person. Hey, little guy, I have something else that I need you to analyze for me.
You do? I thought we've already been through everything.
It's more that I want you to sort through what we know. Alma wore the mask and the fur when she killed Abigail. However, Alma couldn't have done everything herself. For example... Yes, Alma didn't stab herself, and there were obvious attempts to hide evidence after Alma's death. One such piece of evidence is... Someone tried to destroy the costume Alma wore in the fireplace. Another piece is indeed, the weapon Alma is believed to have used was hidden inside the clock.
Only one person was able to do this.
Yes. Now we can finally see everything that happened in this case.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
The dead shall speak. Let's put together the truth of what happened here. In a way, you could say Alma Parker is the first victim. She had a gigantic tumor within her prefrontal lobe. The conditions caused by the tumor changed her. This card has the evidence of that. Yes, she believed her hallucinations were divine visions. Parting with the world, her beloved daughters first. It was that same love that led to Alma's attack. This card proves the violence Alma carried out on her Abigail. Indeed, she put on a mask and fur, then killed her. That's why Abigail failed to recognize her own mother. Instead, she kept screaming in order to warn Alma away. Abigail's last words are proof of that.
Mom! Stay away! Run!
After the murder, Alma tried to guide her child's soul. The proof of that is on this card. This is likely what Mrs. Bowen witnessed. But Alma thought she had failed to save Abigail's soul. In order to guide the soul to its rightful place, Alma thought the sigil needed to be applied before death. So she made careful preparations for Joseph's murder. The evidence of that is shown on this card. Yes, but this plan failed to work. Joseph woke from the pain and struggled with her in a panic. This card tells us the evidence of that. Alma wore the mask and fur again to kill her husband. That's why Joseph didn't know it was Alma attacking him. He desperately caught her hand, resisting her. And in the ensuing struggle, they fell, stabbing Alma. When Joseph removed his attacker's mask, he realized, it was first thought that both cases had the same murderer. But with so many mysteries solved, I know that can't be. This is the card with proof of the reason why that is. Yes. After Alma's death, someone erased evidence of her guilt. No matter how it was done, it couldn't have been Alma. And so the truth of this card is brought to light. This person wanted to hide Alma's crimes. First, her costume was destroyed in the fireplace. The weapon she used was hidden within a clock in the house. Another knife was used to make Alma seem like a victim. This card shows who took this effort to exonerate Alma. Joseph knew Alma was not a woman who could commit murder. Her bizarre acts were a result of her brain tumor. Even then, she still loved her husband and cared about him. Her final words are proof of that.
Joseph, my love, I'm sorry. I can't save you.
This is the truth behind how her life's light was put out.
Naomi, you have a call from Mr. Parker.
Yes, I was just thinking about visiting you. All right, I'll be there soon.
Will you be all right? If you think there's any danger.
Chief, what do you think love is? A true love in which each thought of the other to the end. That may well have been the integral part of this case.
I can't guarantee it's any good. Alma always make coffee.
Thank you.
My wife, she was the best companion a man could hope for. Even when I was stubborn or angry, she still loved me.
Mr. Parker, it's my duty to uncover the truth.
I understand.
You loved her. Even if you'll be misunderstood and branded a killer, you wanted to hide the fact that Alma tried to kill you.
I'd be better off if she had killed me. There's absolutely no way she'd kill me without a cause. She must have had some reason for what she did. Please, if it ends like this, I will be known as a lunatic. You have to find out what truly happened to my wife. Please.
Yes, I will. That's my duty. Death comes to everyone. I'm jealous.
Damn. Sad.
Oh, there you are, Dr. Kimishima. I was looking for you.
I see. What do you want?
I have the report from the Oxford autopsy.
Tell me all about it, right now.
Right. Her brain tumor was kind of strange.
Strange? Could you be any more vague? Were you actually present at the autopsy?
Well, yes, but it was a condition I've never seen. The tissue around the tumor was black. Nobody knows why.
Black. The same as with Veronica. Remove that tumor. I'll have a friend at Resurgam check it. And I want the death certificate made by the end of the day.
You want me to do all that?
No excuses. Get to it right now.
Damn.
I'm on it.
Veronica's death. An old woman losing her mind. What in the world is going on?